Thanksgiving is over, and we're now into December. I'd like to take this opportunity to wish all my listeners a generic, non-denominational, seasonal greeting. This is the Gobbet of Puss 42. Water is wet, fire is hot, media is biased. From October 26th, 2008. Captain Renault. I'm shocked to find that gambling is going on in here. A croupier hands Renault a pile of money. Croupier, you're winning, sir. Captain Renault, sotto voce. Oh, thank you very much. Aloud. Captain Renault, everybody, out at once. Great scene from Casablanca. There's one area of knowledge I know reasonably well, and that is infectious diseases. My local newspaper, the Oregonian, usually gets some detail or other wrong on their stories about infectious diseases. One wonders how I can believe the veracity of the rest of the information reported in our fine daily. The other issue is bias in reporting. It is certainly an issue in clinical trials, as outcome is in part determined by who pays for the study. If the study is funded completely by a pharmaceutical company, it is more likely to be favorable to the study drug than if the funding is independent. You have to know who is paying for the study to judge the result. I am always wary of bias in the medical literature, which is part of the reason why I have had no interactions and have accepted no gifts from any pharmaceutical company for my entire career. Well, that's not entirely true. A couple of years ago, the Unison rep sent me a Fleets enema with his company sticker on it, and I accepted it, and I still display it proudly on my desk. Unfortunately, the media is not good at reporting the potential sources of bias in clinical trials. In a recent JAMA study, they looked at 306 news articles from a variety of sources and found 42% did not mention if there was a pharmaceutical company funding, and 67% referred to the study drug by their brand names more than half the time. Most of the media did not have written policies to address the issues of bias. The problem? Well, given that who provides the funding introduces probably unconscious bias into a study, you have to discount at least part of the results based on who is paying for it. There's a curiosity that even in studies where the results do not reach statistical significance between two study drugs, the non-significant data always looks a wee bit better for the study drug. If the potential source of bias is not reported, and more importantly, the bias explained, consumers and physicians are not given important information to help evaluate a drug and its purported efficacy. When I evaluate a study and see that the funding is all from one company, or that the investigators are drug company speakers, I discount the result by a fudge factor of 10 to 20%, with no data to back up that statement. But it seems about right to me. As to brand names versus generic, I am a bit more skeptical as to any adverse effect for consumers, although I do make the house staff speak only generic. Except for Lasix, of course. Lasix is like Jell-O. It's generic now. Some patients, of course, think that brand names are better than generic, but that's not true. A drug is a drug is a drug. Brand names are just more expensive. And the price? Well, I realize that bringing drugs to market is very expensive and that they need to make back their R&D and a nice little profit as well. That is the American way. But so often, the price of unique drugs appear to be more based on what the market will bear rather than what is reasonable, as if I know what reasonable is. Bias is ubiquitous in medical studies, but fortunately, physicians are immune to its effects and easily recognize when they are being manipulated. God, I'm funny. The relevant reference for this podcast was JAMA 2008, Volume 300, Volume 13, page 1544. And that ends the Gobbet Opus number 42.